The crack of flesh against flesh echoed through the festively lit living room like a gunshot muffled by holiday cheer. My 5-year-old daughter Lily froze mid-giggle, her tiny hand still clutching the broken ornament, a glittering snowflake she'd accidentally knocked from the tree. Time stretched, the twinkling lights blurring in my vision as I spun toward the sound. There, looming over her like a shadow in a nightmare, was my mother-in-law, Evelyn, her palm still raised, red from the impact. Lily's cheek bloomed crimson, her wide eyes filling with tears that spilled silently down her face. The room, filled with the scent of pine, cinnamon cookies, and roasting turkey, fell into a stunned hush. My husband, Mark, dropped his wine glass, the shatter barely registering over the roar in my ears. Fury ignited in my chest, hot and primal, but it was my 8-year-old son, Ethan, who reacted first. His small fists clenched at his sides, eyes narrowing with a darkness I'd never seen in him before. In that moment, I knew something irreversible had begun. I lunged forward, scooping Lily into my arms, her body trembling against mine like a wounded bird. "What the hell, Evelyn?" The words tore from my throat, raw and accusatory. My voice shook, not just with anger, but with the betrayal slicing through me like a knife. This woman, who'd baked cookies with my children just hours ago, who'd cooed over their Christmas lists, had struck my daughter. Over a damn ornament. The air thickened with a metallic tang of spilled wine and the underlying rot of family secrets I'd long ignored. Evelyn straightened, her silver hair perfectly coiffed, her lips pursing in that familiar self-righteous way. "She needs discipline, Sarah. You coddle them too much. Back in my day. Back in your day." I interrupted, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my temples. Lily buried her face in my neck, her sobs muffled but piercing. Mark stepped between us, his hand on my shoulder, but his eyes darted to his mother with a mix of shock and something else. Resignation? "Mom, that's not okay. You can't just hit her." His voice was steady, but I saw the flicker of doubt, the way he avoided my gaze. Betrayal wasn't new in our family. It simmered beneath the surface like poison in well water. Evelyn had always undermined me, whispering to Mark about my lax parenting, my city ways, clashing with her rural roots. But this was a declaration of war. Ethan stood silent in the corner, his toy robot forgotten on the floor. His blue eyes, so like his father's, locked on Evelyn with an intensity that chilled me. At 8, he was perceptive beyond his years, too perceptive perhaps from overhearing our late-night arguments about her meddling. "Grandma," he said softly, his voice cutting through the tension like a whisper in a storm. We all turned. "Why did you hurt Lily?" Evelyn blinked, her composure cracking for a split second. "It was a lesson, dear. She broke something precious." Ethan's face remained impassive, but I saw his jaw tighten, a mirror of my own suppressed rage. He nodded once, slowly, then picked up his robot and walked out of the room without another word. The door to his bedroom clicked shut upstairs, a sound that echoed in my soul like a lock turning on a cage of unspoken fury. That night, as the house settled into an uneasy quiet, I paced the kitchen, the cold tile biting into my bare feet. Mark had convinced Evelyn to apologize, a curt, insincere "I'm sorry if I upset you," before she retired to the guest room with her dignity intact. Lily slept fitfully in our bed, her cheeks still faintly marked, a purple bruise forming like a storm cloud. I stared at it, my fingers tracing the outline, guilt twisting in my gut. How had I let this happen? I'd known Evelyn's temper, her outdated views on child-rearing, but I'd bitten my tongue for Mark's sake, for the illusion of family harmony. Now, humiliation burned through me. Humiliation that I'd failed to protect my child, that my own home felt violated. Resentment toward Mark bubbled up. Why hadn't he exploded? Why did he always placate her? In the dim glow of the Christmas tree lights filtering through the window, I imagined confronting her, screaming until my voice gave out. But deeper, darker thoughts crept in. Fantasies of her isolation, of exposing her cruelty to the world. I shook them off, telling myself it was just anger talking. Denial wrapped around me like a blanket. Maybe it was a one-time thing, a lapse. But as I sipped cold coffee, the bitterness matching my mood, I heard footsteps. Ethan appeared in the doorway, his pajamas rumpled, eyes wide awake. "Mom, can I have some water?" I nodded, filling a glass, but he lingered. "Grandma's mean," he whispered, not meeting my eyes. "She shouldn't have done that." His words hung heavy, laced with a child's simplicity that masked something profound. I knelt to his level, hugging him tight. "I know, buddy. We'll handle it." But as he padded back upstairs, I wondered what handling it meant. Revenge. The word slithered into my mind unbidden, seductive and terrifying. The next morning, Christmas Day dawned crisp and mocking, snow blanketing the yard in pristine white while our home festered with unspoken rot. Evelyn emerged from her room in a festive sweater, acting as if nothing had happened. "Merry Christmas, everyone," she chirped, pouring coffee with steady hands. Mark kissed her cheek, the traitor, while Lily clung to my leg, her eyes wary. Ethan, however, smiled, a bright, innocent grin that didn't reach his eyes. "Merry Christmas, Grandma," he said, handing her a wrapped gift. It was a handmade card, his childish scrawl proclaiming love, but I noticed the way his fingers trembled slightly. Suspense coiled in my chest. Was this normal, or was my son plotting something in his young mind? We opened presents amid forced laughter, the crinkle of paper and scent of fresh pine masking the tension. Evelyn oohed over a scarf from Mark, but when Lily approached timidly with a drawing, Evelyn barely glanced at it. "That's nice, dear." Her tone dripped dismissal, and I felt the resentment harden into obsession. How dare she? In my head, I rehearsed speeches, imagined packing her bags and shoving her out into the snow. But guilt nagged. She was Mark's mother, widowed and alone. Was I the monster for wanting her gone? Ethan watched it all, his silence unnerving. During breakfast, as pancakes sizzled on the griddle, he asked Evelyn innocently, "Grandma, do you remember when you hit Lily? Does it make you sad?" The fork clattered from her hand, syrup splattering the table like blood. Mark shot him a warning look. "Ethan, that's not polite." But Evelyn recovered, chuckling thinly. "Oh, sweetie, it was just a tap. No harm done." Ethan's eyes narrowed again, that same dark glint. "Okay," he said simply, but I saw the wheels turning. My heart ached with a mix of pride and fear. My boy was protecting his sister in ways I hadn't yet mustered the courage to. As the day wore on, subtle cracks appeared. Evelyn complained of a headache, blaming the noisy children. Mark suggested she rest, but I caught her glaring at Lily playing with her new doll. Heartbreak washed over me. This woman who'd once seemed like an ally, now revealed as a viper in our nest. In the quiet of the afternoon, while Mark shoveled the driveway, I confronted her in the kitchen. The air smelled of leftover turkey, cloying and heavy. "You crossed a line, Evelyn. You hurt my child." She turned from the sink, her eyes cold steel. "Your child. Mark's too. And you're raising them soft. That girl needs a firm hand." Her words stung like slaps of their own, unveiling years of suppressed judgment. Betrayal deepened. This wasn't just an impulse. It was deliberate, rooted in her disdain for me. I stormed out, tears freezing on my cheeks in the winter air. Alone in the garage, surrounded by dusty boxes and the faint odor of motor oil, doubt crept in. Was revenge worth fracturing the family? Fantasies swirled, exposing her to relatives, cutting her off. But moral conflict gnawed. Vengeance made me no better than her. Yet, as I re-entered the house, Ethan's voice drifted from upstairs. "Don't worry, Lily. I'll make it better." His tone, so resolute, sent a shiver down my spine. What was my son capable of? That evening, tension simmered like a pot about to boil over. Dinner was a farce of politeness, knives scraping plates in rhythmic accusation. Evelyn dominated the conversation, regaling us with tales of her strict but loving upbringing. Mark nodded along, his laughter forced, while I seethed internally. Ethan ate quietly, but I noticed him staring at her with unnerving focus. When dessert came, Evelyn's famous apple pie, tart and steaming, he pushed his plate away. "I'm not hungry," she frowned. "But it's your favorite." He met her gaze. "Not anymore." The words hung pregnant with implication. Suspense built in the silence. Was this the start of something? Later, as I tucked the kids in, Lily whispered, "Grandma scares me." Heartbreak cracked my resolve. Ethan, in his room adorned with superhero posters and glowing nightlights, hugged me extra tight. "I love you, Mom. Everything will be okay." His assurance felt too adult, too calculated. As I descended the stairs, the house creaked under the weight of secrets. Mark waited in the living room, fire crackling in the hearth. "We need to talk about Mom." But before I could unleash my fury, a crash echoed from the guest room. We rushed up to find Evelyn on the floor, clutching her ankle, a tripped-over toy at her feet. "That damn robot," she hissed. "Ethan's toy. Coincidence? Or the first subtle act of retribution?" Guilt mingled with satisfaction as Mark helped her up. She limped to bed, muttering about careless children. In our room, Mark sighed. "She's getting old, Sarah. Cut her some slack." Rage exploded. Slack. She hit our daughter. He winced, but his defense of her felt like another betrayal. "She's family." I turned away, obsession taking root. That night, sleep evaded me, my mind plotting quiet ways to isolate her, cancel her visits, spread whispers among cousins. But fear tempered it. What if it backfired, alienating Mark? The following days blurred into a slow burn. Evelyn stayed, her sprained ankle a convenient excuse. She hobbled around, demanding help, her barbs sharper. "Sarah, the house is a mess. No wonder the kids are wild." Each word fueled my resentment, layering it with humiliation. Ethan grew quieter, his playtime spent in his room, drawing furiously. When I peeked, his sketches depicted monsters, tall, silver-haired ones, being defeated by small heroes. Foreshadowing prickled my skin. Lily avoided Evelyn entirely, hiding behind me, her trust shattered. One afternoon, as snow fell softly outside, blanketing the world in deceptive peace, I overheard Evelyn on the phone in the study. The door ajar, her voice low. "Mark's wife is impossible. The kids are brats because of her. I had to teach that girl a lesson." My blood ran cold. This wasn't remorse. It was justification, perhaps even pride. Betrayal crystallized into cold resolve. She wasn't just cruel, she was manipulative, poisoning Mark against me for years. In that moment, revenge ceased to be fantasy. It became necessity. But as I plotted, anonymous emails to her bridge club, exposing her temper, Ethan's behavior unnerved me. He began helping Evelyn, bringing her tea with a smile that seemed too sweet. "Here, Grandma. I made it just for you." She sipped, unsuspecting, while I watched from the doorway, heart racing. Was it laced with something? No, impossible, he was 8. Yet doubt lingered, moral conflict raging. If he was involved, was I complicit? Tension peaked that evening. Mark announced Evelyn would leave soon, but not before a family photo. As we posed by the tree, lights twinkling mockingly, Ethan positioned himself beside her. His hand brushed hers and she winced. "Ouch! What was that?" He blinked innocently. "Nothing." But I saw the pin in his pocket, glinting. Subtle, strategic, a child's vengeance emerging. My breath caught. The slow burn ignited. The departure loomed like a storm cloud, but the air in the house thickened with unspoken threats. Evelyn's ankle healed miraculously, her complaints shifting to the children's disrespect. I feigned concern, all while my inner thoughts churned with plans. Exposure wasn't enough. I wanted her to feel the isolation she'd inflicted. Anonymous notes to her neighbors about her abusive tendencies. Too risky. Instead, I started small, deleting her from family group chats, ignoring her calls. Guilt clawed at me. She was elderly, vulnerable, but resentment drowned it. She'd betrayed us, her own blood. Ethan's actions escalated subtly, building suspense like a tightening noose. He accidentally spilled juice on her favorite sweater, the sticky liquid seeping into wool like blood into snow. "Sorry, Grandma," he said, eyes wide but voice flat. She snapped, "Watch yourself, boy." Mark chalked it up to clumsiness, but I saw the calculation in Ethan's gaze. Obsession gripped him too. At night I'd find him awake, staring at the ceiling. "What if she comes back?" he'd whisper. My heart broke, my son burdened with adult rage. "She won't hurt us again," I promised, but doubt festered. Was I encouraging this? A week after the slap, Evelyn packed her bags amid frosty goodbyes. The house smelled of her perfume, cloying and invasive, as she hugged Mark tightly. "Take care of those kids. They need structure." Her eyes flicked to me, smug. Humiliation surged. She thought she'd won. Lily hid behind my legs, trembling. Ethan approached last, his small frame rigid. "Goodbye, Grandma." He extended a hand, but as she took it, he squeezed hard. She yelped, pulling back, red marks on her skin. "What?" But he smiled serenely. "I learned that from you. A lesson." The room froze. Mark's jaw dropped. Lily gasped. Evelyn's face paled, realization dawning. My son's response, cold, deliberate, shocked everyone, including me. She left in a huff, tires crunching snow, but the betrayal lingered like a ghost. Mark confronted me that night, firelight dancing on his worried face. "What's going on with Ethan?" That wasn't normal. Anger flared. "What's normal is not hitting a child. Your mother did this." He sighed, running hands through his hair. "She's flawed, but revenge. It's poisoning him." Moral conflict hit like a wave. Was I complicit in turning my son into this? Heartbreak mixed with resolve. I'd protect my family, even if it meant gray areas. But Evelyn wasn't done. Calls came, accusing us of brainwashing the kids. She threatened to tell relatives, twisting the narrative. I barely touched her, and now they're alienating me. Manipulation unveiled, her hidden motive clear. Control over Mark, over us. Resentment turned to obsession. I documented everything, building a case. Fantasies of public shaming consumed me, but fear held back. What if it backfired, costing custody whispers? Ethan's quiet calculation deepened. He asked about poisons in school projects. For science. Alarm bells rang, but denial whispered it was curiosity. One evening, as rain pelted the windows, a shift from snow mirroring our thawing restraint, he confessed, "I hate her, Mom. She hurt Lily." Tears glistened, his vulnerability cracking my heart. "I know, sweetie. But hate hurts us too." Hypocrite, I thought. My own plans simmered. Suspense built as Evelyn announced a visit for New Year's. "To make amends," she texted Mark. Panic surged, she couldn't return. I plotted interception, but Ethan beat me. "I'll handle it," he said eerily. Doubt plagued me. What was he planning? The day arrived, tension electric. Evelyn knocked, snowflakes in her hair, bearing gifts like bribes. "Let's put this behind us." Dialogue dripped false sweetness. Lily cowered. Mark hesitated. Ethan greeted her at the door. "Come in, Grandma." His voice, calm, raised hairs on my neck. As we sat in the living room, lights dimmed, atmosphere heavy with unspoken rage, Ethan offered tea again. "I made it special." She sipped, complimenting him. Minutes ticked, suspense coiling. Then her face flushed. "I feel odd." She clutched her throat, eyes widening. Panic erupted. Mark called 911. I froze in horror. Had Ethan? Paramedics arrived. Sirens wailing through the night. Evelyn gasped. "Poison." But tests revealed nothing. Just a severe allergic reaction. To what? Ethan confessed later, tearfully. "I put nuts in her tea. She always said she's allergic, but I saw her eat them once. I wanted her to feel scared like Lily." Shock rippled. My son's revenge. Calculated, non-lethal but terrifying. Poetic justice. Fear for fear. Evelyn survived, but the incident shattered her facade. Relatives learned the truth. Isolation followed. Mark cut ties, betrayal's weight too heavy. Guilt consumed me. I'd let resentment fester in Ethan. Yet, in the twist he taught us, revenge's cost is innocence lost. As snow melted outside, our family healed, but the scar remained, a reminder of betrayal's dark echo.